DFTW, yeah, you.
I figured it like a kind of fun, interesting way to jumpstart it would be like just off the top of your head, pick out like three strong tattoo images, stuff that would be like off the wall in a standard old school traditional shop. You know, don't even pick hard, just like kind of three good
Yeah, okay.
representatives.
The first one I'm gonna go with is Panther.
Nice.
I'm gonna go Panther. I'm gonna write him down on this little page.
Yeah.
So I got Panther. And then I'm gonna go ship. I'm gonna go Clipper ship.
Excellent.
I'm gonna go Clipper. I'm gonna go Clippers. Clipper ships are cool. And then it's weird. I want to go. Can I just go banners? Or is that like too specific?
No, that's good. So, no, that's great. And then really like the half of that is just kind of like, I think the fun part of dipping into the well and seeing what amount of water comes out or however you want to like break that down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then my second tier question part of that would be, why do you think you chose those, you know, and break them down individually? Like what is attractive about a panther? Don't even don't even associate them yet. Just dig into each one individually. What is like,
I could break down any of those three for sure. So I mean, like the panther, it could appeal. And for me, it appealed first things. It's one of my favorite images. So that's like when you said something off the wall. I always think of like the Production Z's Panther sheet with the fucking, you know, the same panther in a couple different positions.
Yep.
Boom, 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 stamped across it, and just
crawling bad boy.
Panther's such a strong image, and just kind of, I guess, represents strength and all of that kind of necessity. And for the Clipper ship, I picked that one because, you know, especially back in the day, if you're thinking old type tattoo shop, Clipper ships were a way more common thing. Traveling by boat was just a way more common thing. And between the Navy and all that stuff and the history of all that with tattoo and Clipper ships, boom, staple. You know what I mean? Always there. Represent travel, represent freedom, new beginnings, whatever. And the last one was banners because it's just goddamn universal. You put anything in a banner and it can look nice. People always want a name, a number, a date, a place,
message,
some type of memento in worded form. And to me, a floating word just never looks as good aesthetically as like a nice word placed in a banner. True. You know, with something. And you can put a banner with anything, it'll look good.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Even if it doesn't have words, I've seen people like sometimes just do banners in a piece of flash and it's just empty and it just looks good because it creates a flow and an aesthetic, and you put like a cool purple or blue in there to pop whatever colors in the red rose, and it just looks good.
Yeah, well, there's like a lot to break down there because I think like just that in general, that it's the possibility for a statement. It's like it's like a blank piece of paper almost. When you look at it, it's like potential. You know, like you said, it doesn't really have to have like you've seen ones where they'll even say your name or something funny. Yep. You know what I mean? So it has this kind of
artists will use like their muse's names, Diane or whatever.
Yeah. Or the classic mom or whatever it is. Yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, that's like, those are great kind of pillar ones, obviously. Like you said, with traveling and old school sailors kind of being like, in a way, the first kind of like people spreading culture, or maybe even like what a meme is, you know? They're like the old school version of that. It's like a traveling message.
And it would bring a story.
Yeah.
Some crazy story that they saw in a bar that they embellished upon.
And what even about just like putting on an animal that doesn't exist in your part of the world, you know? Imagine how crazy that would be. You're like, this is an elephant. Like, what? That doesn't exist. They're like, nah, swear to God, these things are all over the place over there, you know?
Well, you see those German artists like drawing their version of the Asian designs, like whether it be like a dragon or a food dog. Like you see those very old kind of rudimentary versions of them, and so people wanted the mystique.
Is there a reason panther over any other type of like strong animal or even other strong cat, you know? Like, is there a...
You know what's funny? And I think it is a pretty simple answer in the sense where it's the black. It just stands the strongest over time.
No,
it's
that's
the black. I mean, dude, what is it? Even if you look at, like, in The Sopranos, James Gandolfini and fucking Paulie Walnuts both had panthers on them. I think one of them's on backwards, but it's just like, that's such a recognizable, iconic image, and it's always just... timeless as long as it's done right.
I love that. I did a couple of these little episodes, you know, they're revolving around stuff like the first one was like about around like kind of being tribalism, or even how we're losing our tribe. And then the other being sense of like adventure or something. And I feel like tattooing really is heavy in both of those. Do you think maybe you're carrying forward those two aspects, like a sense of tribalism and a sense of like, when I say adventure, if you break the word down, it's like a venture is like a thing that you do, right? You know, it's like if you have a business, that's what you do. And then an adventure is to like go outside or to make that thing bigger or greater, you know? So do you think you take it and make it bigger and greater? And then not only that, do you think that you play into a sense of tribalism?
I for sure like to think I do that because I'll take my tattooing wherever I can, truthfully. That's what makes it so magical to me, is that at the end of the day, I learned this craft and I know how to do this craft, and I can respectfully take it anywhere and do it anywhere on anyone at any given time. You know what I mean? If I wanted to, for fuck's sake, I could take my little power supply on the goddamn subway and go do tats. I'm not going to do that. But just having that freedom and that accessibility and that willingness to do that and kind of carry it forward for people and show them that there's a way to get a tattoo that's a little bit more different than the way in the past, but still have it move forward in a traditional sense.
Yeah, with respect and like, you know, having a vision, you know,
totally.
for something bigger. Yeah.
And I mean, it just, you know, because there's a tattoo for every occasion, you know what I mean? Sometimes it feels good to go to the high-class uppity shop and pay a nice price for a tattoo and something that you earn. Sometimes it's fun to walk into the midnight shop and get a little fucking banger and have it. You know, like there's tattoos for every occasion. And I've always considered myself a blue-collar tattooer and like kind of doing tattoos for good people and at a good price and just keeping it real with motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Yeah. No, keeping it real, no doubt. I mean, that's a good way to be just in general, but I mean, in tattooing, it's almost like it's a necessity, especially now with where everything is going. From your point of view, you know, like how many years in are you now? Just in general. In general.
6 years of needle to skin.
Nice.
I mean, you know, been around it my whole life with my father tattooing for 30 years, but
yeah,
needle to skin, 6 years
now.
So
with both of those aspects, you know, 6 years is nothing to shake a stick at, you know what I mean? That's pretty good. That's not bad. And then also coming almost from tattoo, I'm going to call it like lineage or something.
Yeah.
So with having both of those kind of contrasting points, from your point of view, what do you think the core of tattooing is? You know, like what is the, no matter what you throw at it, no matter what you knock off of it, no matter what you try to stack on it or take away from it, what is the never-ending like core, the thing that is maybe the most powerful piece of tattooing for you? You don't have to you don't have to speak for everybody, you know.
I also have a pretty simple answer for this one. I believe it's the client.
Boom.
Honestly.
Boom, baby.
Because without the other person interaction, I'm just drawing pictures on paper. You know what I mean? Like, it's the client coming in and pushing, being like, all right, hey, you know, I'm thinking about, I want this thing, but I want it done in your type of style. You know what I mean? No matter what it is. Like, and that driving factor is what makes it so cool and so special. Because even if I got to do exactly what I wanted every day, I think I would get a little bit bored of it. I like that magic of what walks through the door of that X variable, of that person. Because without that, there's no tattooing.
Yeah, it's just like graphic design or some other bullshit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm making shit for t-shirts and stickers and bands or whatever, which is cool in its own right, but I don't want to do that. I like the medium I work in, and it requires a partner. It's a tango.
Yeah, two to tango, definitely.
It's a fucking tango.
Yeah. What kind of dance are you doing over here?
Totally.
Well, so then, like, if the core of tattooing is the client, or I guess it maybe be like the client interaction, because that's like what tattooing is some type of fusion between two people. Like somebody has an idea and then somebody is able to implant that onto the skin or whatever. What makes a good tattoo to you? What is, like, you know, in so many words? It can be a few things or whatever. What makes a good tattoo?
it's got to have some type of impact. I don't mean like a giant, like, whoa, that's crazy impact, but it's got to be impactful in one of a couple of different categories, whether it's technically sound, you know what I mean? If it's just a simple outline of a heart,
yeah,
you
sure.
know, if what's impressive is if it's nailed perfectly,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's a trad tat, style's involved. It's almost like skating, you know what
There
I
you
mean?
go.
At that point, then it's like, all right, what type of style do you like the best? And even the same thing with Jap. If it's done correctly and there's a style involved with it, I think that is what makes it aesthetically cool. Because now in this state of age, anyone can go on Google and pull up a Hanya,
Yeah.
traditional gypsy girl, whatever, and just kind of boom, you have your stock image of one, because the stock image has become so common, and you know the real ones can tell the difference between the stock image and then some image that someone's put some time in to learn the effort to what makes it cool and then make it their own. Technically sound, its own style. It's got to nail at least one of those two categories. There might even be another category. You know what I mean? If we're going, I want it to be technical. If that's what has to be cool. But let's say if this style that doesn't look technically good, let's take some of this crazy cyber sigillism stuff that people love. If it fits the body and has a certain type of flow, I can, look past the sloppy aesthetic. You know what I mean? If that's what the person's going for, I at least want it to fit the body nicely.
There you go.
So I think I don't think there's one answer to what makes a tattoo good. I think it's too broad. And,
sure. What are you trying to achieve with it?
Yeah. But I want it to be impactful. And it's got to be impactful in a certain category, whether it's technical, flow, style. I mean, shit, you can have all three, and that's what makes shit gangster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as long as you have one of those three, you're usually doing pretty good.
Do you think, is there one of those that has more weight than another? Is there one that you would like?
I'm a style guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Steve style guy for sure. I think style is king. Style is everything. Technical ability obviously comes very close behind it, because if you have style but your shit's sloppy, then shit's just sloppy. But once you refine your technical ability, you develop a style, that's when people start killing it and crushing it and kind of start taking this thing and pushing it to the next level, when you can nail all three of those categories into one tattoo and bring it forward.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to see what people can achieve, and then how, like you said, there is that weird contrast between, like, even if somebody can pull off a beautiful photorealistic this or that, it doesn't always have the same magic as something that's way more simple but says something with just like, one shot, or like, just totally powerful, or less is more a lot of the times. And tattooing is one of the spaces where it's just totally evident, that's a thing.
Because if I gotta get up on your tattoo and be asking questions about it, I feel like it fails.
I agree. If you have to ask any questions first, it's a fail. You got to be able to, like you said, have an impact from it, and then go beyond whatever after that. Because it's on somebody and you're wearing it, and it's supposed to have some meaning that if it doesn't have that weight, it almost has an extra weight of negativity added to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like you hear shit like, you paid for that, son? Or whatever,
Man, that's a good thing to kind of talk about. It's crazy the amount of people that walk around with bad tattoos, and like the process of having a bad tattoo, and like from the moment of getting it, paying for it or whatever, and then walking out the door and then being like, oh man, I really don't like this. Or is it like to that one friend says like, hey man, what is fucking that thing on your arm? And you're like, oh man, this is shit. And then like, like, oh fuck, what am I going to do about this? And then some people just get to the point where they're just like, I'm just going to live with this thing now. Like, don't even think about it anymore. Like, it's almost like stages of grief, like stages of going through getting a bad tattoo.
Well, think about all the people that you've seen try this never-ending battle to save it, and it just never gets saved, because it's just...
the cover-up battle?
Well, like, you kind of get the tattoo you deserve, and what I mean by that is, like, if you don't do the right steps to take care of yourself, then sometimes fucked up shit happens in the tattoo world and in the tattoo scenario. And if somebody doesn't have your best interest in mind, they might lead you down a very questionable path month to try and get your tattoo back in line, and I just feel like a lot of times it doesn't even end up happening. So maybe just from a warning standpoint, yeah, like make sure well, here's the thing, it's always a salvage job, so it's hard to even make that distinction, because who knows if you can save it. Sometimes it's just questionable until you're there,
going for it,
doing the tat lord's work. But
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, about 60 to 70% of the work I do is cover up based, whether it's a blast over, a genuine cover up, a rework. It's so many people, whether it's an old tat, a bad tat, a bedroom side tat from an Amazon machine. So many people have these bad tattoos. So it's like I've been trying to develop ways to make people feel more comfortable in themselves with these cover-ups, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's a couple step project, you know what I mean? Like a couple layers of things, a couple passes of things. And, it's a hard journey for people to realize, because the mistake they made took 15 minutes, but to fix it, it's going to take, sessions and time and whatnot. And it's interesting to watch these people kind of go through this, you know what I mean? And then it's funny too, some people, I'll do a cover-up on them and see them make the same mistake again and come back for another cover-up. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
It has everything to do with trust, I think, and then also like you were saying, there's this degree of value that's associated with it the person has, and sometimes it can be shifted or adjusted by whoever they run into, so it might not have been a big deal, and then they went to see grandma at Thanksgiving, and that they gave him so much shit that now they're like, oh, I have to get it covered or I'm not even allowed to come back to Christmas. You know what I mean?
Grandma fucking hates me now. She thinks I'm a scumbag.
Yeah, or whatever it is. Because, like, it's all about the eye of the beholder. Because, like, I've seen, like, say, a super attractive chick with just dog shit tattoos, and she still sports them well. She still looks great, even though her tattoos look like shit. And then I've seen...
confidence.
Then I've seen a buster with beautiful tats, and it does nothing for the fact that you suck. You know what I mean? Like that your tats are beautiful. You still
two people can wear the same tattoo and wear it completely differently.
Exactly. So there's something to be said with that, especially like you were saying about leading people with styles and helping them in that way. Sometimes something that's not as perfect is way more powerful. And even if somebody were to try to use the perfection model to gauge it, it just wouldn't work. It would just break because it's not meant to be. That ruler is not meant to measure this. You're using a cloth ruler.
Perfection is fucking crazy to begin with. We live in an imperfect world.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hospitals are getting bombed. Nothing is fucking perfect. You know what I mean? Like, people need to get over the concept of a perfect thing and accept the fact that any little imperfection just kind of adds to the beauty opposed to takes away from it.
Well, there's always the body is always moving and grooving and whatever, so it just only makes sense that a tattoo should kind of be built to be a little bit more, I don't want to say elastic, but you know what I mean, that can kind of go with the flow. It's not supposed to be locked in time. Exactly. It's supposed to be more close to classic than novelty. Not to say, there's power in novelty too.
A novelty tat has its place.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've have a couple of them as well. I know they're very fun. Like maybe quickly recall like a tattoo high point for you that you were just like hitting on all levels, and when you went home, you were like that day or whenever, or that weekend, that you were just like, this is fucking real, this is me, this is my life as the tattoo guy. What is like when was the time that was something like that? It could have been the tat, it could have been the scenario, anything.
Honestly, this year I got the opportunity to tattoo in the Virgin Islands in St. Thomas at a convention. Not a huge convention, maybe like 20 artists, give or take. And, that was an honest-to-God great moment, in the sense where tattooing got to take me to an island and connecting me to a group of people that really didn't have much in common with. You know what I mean? I went there thinking I was going to tattoo a bunch of snotty-nosed tourists, and ended up tattooing a bunch of native locals that were super cool, and like once I got to know them, were very welcoming of the island, and the whole experience of it was definitely like a I made it sense of moment. Like, dude, this is what it is. Like, this is what it's about. This is the magic. Like, out here tattooing, I got to do some really cool tattoos and met some really cool people that let me kind of get funky with them. And then I did some tattoos that were just sentimental to people, whether it be a little, a compass rose with their dad's name in it or whatever. It was just doing these tattoos for people and getting the experience of just meeting people in a completely different place, surrounded by water, and being totally welcomed there. That was a for sure a high moment in tattooing for me. And just because of the camaraderie of it, the people, the magicness of it, it was just had a very palpable energy to the whole thing.
Do you think that's something that you would have sought out, or do you think that is just like a magically formed moment? Is that something, like, I'm not saying you did seek it out, but do you think this was on your goal of things to do with tattooing, or is this like a little gift that you got from tattooing, almost like as you know what I mean?
I'd say it's definitely something I've manifested. I've said I want to travel and
There you
tattoo
go.
as far back as I can remember. So it's definitely something that, like, I have seeked out for longer. I'd say something that I didn't expect to, like, make me stoked in tattooing is the tattoos that you get to do that, like, push someone positively forward, like whether it gives them a better confidence about themselves that lets them get a girlfriend or lets them go out and approach that place that they thought was unapproachable. Like the moments of when you give a tattoo to someone and you can instantly see it makes them feel like a better person, those are really cool fucking moments that I didn't expect. You know what I mean?
I
like
love
a
that,
genuine moment.
Yeah.
Even sometimes like helping someone celebrate the birth of a child, or even celebrate, you know, someone's life and death, and giving them tattoos that aren't, you know, not the too heavy ones where they're sitting there crying, but the ones that like really help seal it away and be like, you know what, my buddy did die 9 years ago. I'm gonna get this surfing fin on my arm and his initials, but I want this cool color. And you get this tattoo and it just makes you feel good about it. You know what I mean? It brings back a pleasant memory or those type of things. Those are the moments I didn't expect to get out of tattooing, is like those actual genuine, like,
human to human,
made that person better about themselves.
And I mean, do you find that happening more over time? Do you find it happening more because you're seeking to make it happen? What do you think? Like,
no, I say when it feels genuine, it's honestly, it's pretty rare. You know what I mean? Like, and it's something I can't seek out. I don't know when it happens because it's so much genuine thoughts and emotions. So it's truly based on that person. So it's like when that perfect dance hits of like, all right, this person's at this point of their life that they feel they're going through something. So they want to get this tattoo to help them. So they have to first find me and then come to me, give me their idea. We jive on it completely. I draw this thing up. They love it. They get the tattoo. They love it. And then it affects their life in a positive way in the form of confidence.
Like that.
That's the magic for me. Those are the unexpected magical moments. The traveling and tattooing is something I've always hunted and wanted. The feelings of giving people confidence is awesome. I got to imagine that's like the feeling where all the teachers say, they're like, oh, you know what? It's nice to give back to the kids and seeing them be happy or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I got to imagine it's a similar thing to that.
Makes it all worth it. In a way, it's like if you were a coach or something and you got to see your team win or some shit like that.
Yeah, shit's real. I mean, cause I'm not trying to be no like famous tattooer or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So like, it's neat to find that wholesome moment in it because it's just a true, genuine person-to-person experience, and it just, those type of moments feel really good.
Obviously you do. What was the first tattoo you ever got?
I was 16 years old, and my dad tattooed the back of my calf. We outlined and did the black shading in one session. And it's so funny because, like, I wanted a little bit of everything at that point. I couldn't fucking decide. So it's literally, it's a coffin, it's a snake, there's spider webs, there's roses, there's a wing, there's fucking,
How did you come up with all the different stuff?
Honestly, at this point, I don't even fucking know. I was just so stoked on tattooing and loved being in a tattoo shop, and just like me and the old man, we definitely like drew it up together and like kind of, you know, talked about different concepts and whatnot. And it was super cool. Very, very awesome experience. My first 3 or 4 tattoos were all kind of done in that sense where it was like sitting down with the dad and like, talking about what I wanted, and he would draw it up, and sometimes I'd give him an idea and he'd be like, no, I'm going to give you this. Like, I think it was maybe my 3rd tattoo I got. I was coming to visit my dad for some holiday in North Carolina. I was maybe 17, and I told him, I said, Dad, I want to get this 3-eyed tiger on my kneecap. He said, I don't want to tattoo your knee. I'm going to give you a 4-eyed tiger on your bicep. And it's fucking one of my favorites. It's such a cool, awesome tat. And Yeah, it's definitely like just a fun thing. You know what I mean? Just kind of going to him and sometimes shooting things at him, be like, no, I'm gonna do this.
So what made like 16 the time that you were ready to get tattooed, or however that worked?
I mean, I had talked about wanting one for as long as I can remember. My dad's, his friends used to draw on me with Sharpies and put stencils on me in the shop. And, at 16, especially where I was living in North Carolina, you can already, like, start getting your driver's permit and drive your car. And just kind of was like the time where it was like, all right, this is what you want. I'll give it for you. You know what I mean? Just because at that point, truthfully, if my father wasn't in tattooing, I probably would have seeked it out anyway and been getting tattooed at that point on my own right, So it was just a matter of my dad taking me under his wing and like getting it done correctly. I mean, he told me too. He was like, if you get another tattoo before you turn 18 by anyone else that's not me, I'll never tattoo you again.
So yeah, you got to keep it close or get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember, I think I was like 19 when I got, maybe even 20 when I got my first tattoo from someone that wasn't him, and I still like called him. I was like, hey Dad, I'm gonna go get tattooed by this guy. Arrow, is that okay? And, and he's like, of course, you're 19 years old. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Just making sure. Just want to keep that door open.
I mean, dude, when I was probably 26, 27 maybe, and I got my, like, maybe a little bit younger, I got my first finger tattoo. My buddy hand poked a $sign on the tip of my pinky, right on my nail bed.
Nice.
And when I went to go see my dad right after I got that, I remember hiding my pinky from him because I didn't want him to give me fucking shit.
He's like, lame, dork.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing tattooing your fucking hands? You would have totally given me shit. Probably not. Who knows? That maybe just me being self-conscious, but pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
So if that was your first one, what's the last tattoo that you've gotten, the most recent?
I got tattooed in like a batch of fucking threes when I came down to Florida. You're one of the three. Yeah, I'd say you're one of the three. It was a whole batch of them. Whole Florida batch. Yeah, I've got a blast over on them, just blasting skulls over it, so it's fucking hard to keep track. But it was definitely the last three time I got tattooed, it was in a pack of 3, and I won't do that ever again. They're all literally still healing. It sucks.
Your body's like, yeah, fuck off.
I'm not getting tattooed in 3s any fucking more. God damn it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? I know you have like a kind of a weird, kind of like nerd question, whatever, but like do you have a favorite tattoo? Do any of them mean more than anything?
Changes. Definitely changes on the season, you know, like when I fucking shave my head and rock a bald head, having the top of my head tat, I've had that one's pretty sweet. Big old Fudu Mayu from the dude that taught me, Josh, and that thing fucking rips. My back piece done by Alberto, the other dude that taught me. I fucking love that thing. I gotta get it finished. Shout out Alberto. And then some of the other tats, it kind of depends on the time, you know what I mean? On the moment. Like, if at any point I could show someone one of my tattoos and it brings them excitement or joy, at that moment, that tattoo becomes my favorite tattoo. You know what I mean?
That's a very cool answer.
Because I personally like that. I'm a people pleaser. I like that when I can bring joy to someone. I'm not saying I just have a bunch of joke tattoos, but just like in the sense of like I just like it when like someone gets excited about them.
Well, yeah, you're like almost, it's like you keep a DVD collection not only because you want to have these movies, but because you want to share them when your buddies come over too. You want to be able to watch a cool movie, you know? So it's like, so it's like you said, your favorite movie might be Kill Bill, but it might be Terminator 2 tonight because of who you're chilling with and because the time is going to be so fun or whatever. That's cool though. I think that's a piece of tattooing that people are missing, is that in this world of me, iPhone this and whatever, you're missing that tattooing is like a conversation. It's like an ask of somebody to be like, hey, do you want to listen to this music or taste this food or, look at this picture?
It's like a marker. I mean, I could look at certain people with tattoos and I'm like, oh man, I know I don't want to talk to those people. You know what I mean? Like if I'm out in public, like, okay, those dudes, I'm going to avoid that fucking little group of motherfuckers.
Well, it is interesting because it's tribal shit and it's like telling you right on the get, you know, what you're about. Just like in the old school days, it's funny how it's almost reverting back.
That's what the tribal tattooing begins. Yeah. That way you recognize off the boat, like, oh shit, that motherfucker's got that pattern. Like, they're not friendly. I'm not getting off the boat and checking out this island. Dude, that's something that's crazy nowadays. It's like, people wearing the tattoos to try to act like almost like a stolen valor.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's definitely something you see.
Well, that whole like like if you're back in the day you're getting patchwork or like pork chop sleeves and you're getting one at a time because that's just maybe what time or money permits or whatever. But it builds this kind of story. I have it myself. That type of unfolding of your tat journey. But if you get all that in one shot or a couple of shots, it really does seem strange. It's almost like only having a song with all breakdowns but no build-ups. It's not that it's bad. It just doesn't really make sense as to why you did it that way. Why'd you do it that way? You're like, you didn't collect it the right way.
There's no journey.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no journey.
I've seen people that do like, will line out a full sleeve in one session of just trad bangers. And I'm like, man, that's really interesting. Like, I get it. Cool, you want to have tattoos, but don't you just want to, like, enjoy the journey of getting that? I don't know, man. It's interesting. That definitely takes away a little. Obviously, I'll do whatever the client wants, but for me, I wouldn't want to get tattooed that way.
Well, and I wonder if it's like you just don't even know that is the origin of why that is. It's like somebody maybe being like, oh, I saw out on the town somebody had a teardrop tattoo, so I got one because I thought it looked cool. And then you find out, oh, that dude just got out of jail and it's like a murder thing, So I wonder if it's just that we need to be having more conversations about like why you would even want to get something like that. And it's fine to get literally whatever you want, but I just think that maybe there should be conversations had as why you would get something. That's kind of why I asked you about those things in the beginning. Just pick 3 things off the top of your head, because there's a reason why those things cropped up over some other items that are noticeable or recognizable, but there's a certain power to the ones that you picked up. You know what I mean? There's a certain like resonating frequency where no matter who looks at it, if they like it or not, they're going to be affected by it, If it's a rock and roll dude, he's going to be like, hell yeah. If it's an old lady, she's going to clasp her purse closer. And I like both of those responses. You know what I mean? I think they're A-okay for a flaming Reaper death skull.
What are your 3 favorite images in tattooing off of Red?
I would say Reaper, Bird, and...
Bird is so universal. You know what's funny? I almost wouldn't, even though obviously is, I almost wouldn't consider an eagle a bird. It's just its own entity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a Reaper. It's almost like the Reaper of the animal kingdom or something. Yeah, no, I'm a bird more like a sparrow, the one that you get for travel, like the one that they would give you for traveling back in the day. I forget if it's like going over the equator or something. You would get it for
a certain amount of miles, and shit like that.
Yeah, I like that one, and then I just have to go, because I already did Reaper, which is like skull, so I'll just go with flower, And if I wouldn't go traditional rose either, I'd do maybe like one of the Japanese ones, that
chrysanthemum, something like that.
Yeah, or maybe the peony, because it like kind of almost takes on the form of clouds, so it's almost like a nice representation of both worlds that it's just formed.
Bubbly shape.
Yeah. Do you still actively get tattooed, like other than just kind of how you did it last time, where it's like more almost like for camaraderie than it is like you're seeking out somebody to get this specific thing?
So yeah, I mean, at this point, there's a couple dudes I would really like to get tattooed by, and if I kind of like the opportunity is there and in front of me, I'll definitely pull the trigger on it. But for the most part, it's for like, the camaraderie, the people I'm around. Like, oh, dude, you're sitting here grinding hard and painting, you haven't got to do a cool tat in the past couple weeks. Like, you want to do something fun on me? You know what I mean? Like, that type of thing means a lot to me.
Keeping the vibe alive, no doubt.
Yeah. When the homies do sick tats.
Hell yeah. If you could go back and talk to your beginning stage self, what would you say to, like, if you're like the big brother of yourself back then? So you can almost like pick on yourself in a way. But there's something about like how tattooing is almost like a fighting style. What's like one of those moves or something that
I would tell myself to pick up a sketchbook more.
Bam, you nailed it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, pick up a sketchbook more.
Flesh that out. No, we'll flesh that out, because that's exactly what I was looking for. What do you, if you're talking to yourself, what do you mean by pick up a sketchbook more? Boom, go.
Like, just in the sense of, like, you find your own hand in your sketchbook. you find your hand, you find what's comfortable, you find what lines and what flows and what movements work for you, and like kind of helps your ultimate drawing. If you're hard-headed in the beginning and you're just like, all right, I want to paint these cool things, but if you would like take some time and just draw on your sketchbook on a daily basis, like really make that effort. Yeah, and then I'd follow it up with that all of your tats for the next 3 years are gonna suck, so fucking buckle up.
Deal with it, baby. Yeah. Nice.
The learning curve in tattooing is not kind.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's important maybe to find a good little group of cool dudes or dudettes or whoever can help support you.
Well,
so
that's
that
what, it teaches you the preservation and like to push through, and like being hypercritical on yourself like that allows you to push forward. And, I always strive to do a better tattoo than my last, whether it's in any of those 3 categories we talked about earlier, whether it's in style, whether it's in technical ability, whether it's in flow. Every tattoo I do, I want it to be better than the last tattoo I did in one of those 3 categories.
So that's is that an actual like focus on each one, or is it just that when you're done with the tattoo, but I'm saying like, but do you like look at the tattoo looking for those things at the end? Do you look to see, or is it kind of just like a happy accident, whichever one of those is flaring up the best? Is there a focal?
I think it definitely, for me, it more so jumps out at the end.
There you go.
There's some of the stuff that's kind of the obvious, where it's just like some of those line work driven tattoos. You know what I mean? You're really just striving for technical ability and like placement. The flow, more so opposed to style. Some of those designs, you have to almost take your style out of it and just give them what they want.
Yes, yeah.
So then it's just technical ability and flow with the body.
Like I said, I really think there's a way to kind of get into the mind of the person getting tattoos as to like what even is cool and why you would get something. Like we're here to do tattoos. We'll do whatever you want, basically, for the most part. But
how do we make the client recognize a good artist? Because I say it all the time. Normal people don't recognize a good tattoo from their fucking asshole most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, how do we educate the client on like picking the correct artist?
I think that one is so tricky because art is subjective, and then B,
totally.
B, you only have your proximity to the art. Like a guy who never leaves the trailer park is never going to know what a Picasso is. So he like doesn't even know how to know or not know. But I think that's why you said it's all about the customer, and I think even deeper than that, it's all about the experience of the customer. So. Mm-hmm. Like you saying that pick the good artist is almost like essentially could be shooting yourself, myself, anybody in the foot, because what does that mean? Like there's tons of people who are
like what do they put value on?
Yeah, cool. Because like
there's in the aesthetic of the shop. They're not like my aesthetic because there's art everywhere. Do they like the shop more because it has candles and incense and fucking doctors like appearances?
Well, because you said like what if there's tons of people who are better tattoo like making of a portrait guys than we are.
Sure.
But maybe that's not air quotes a better tattoo. So like that's why I think it's important and great that you do what you do, that it's so important to provide a good experience, because that outlives any other part of the tattoo, because even best tattoo ever executed still looks like dog shit when you're 90 years old, but you'll never forget how many laughs or how fun it was when you were there. I think that's part of that is like don't you want to support the thing that is really stoked to be there, and let's get back to being stoked to be there, and almost maybe point out if something is not, because fuck that, there's not enough room for you to be here if you're not stoked to be here.
Dude, yeah, I'm definitely with that. It's 2025 going on 2026. Start calling out negative Nancy's. If you're going to be negative about life, stay the fuck home, dude.
Yeah.
Some of these people, I feel like they never heard. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing
exactly.
at all, man.
Exactly.
The concept of keeping your fucking mouth shut has definitely escaped the world. But, I mean, here we are blabbing on some shit about some shit, so maybe we're the fucking problem.
Well, I think bringing what do you call that, awareness to it is important, because otherwise it just stays in the dark. I don't know, get there one tat at a time.
But, you know, that's all we can do.
Yeah. Your
You're gonna tattoo your forehead.
Well, you know, your
forehead tats are crazy. Like,
yeah.
Straight down the forehead is wild. And I've got the sides of my face tattooed, but I don't know, something about the full frontal.
Yeah.
Full frontal is definitely next level.
It's just like an advertisement forever, you know, like a McDonald's fucking billboard thing for the rest of your life.
Great golden arches.
Like, I don't give a fuck. You're like, all right, heard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that truly is the statement of any forehead tattoo underlying is definitely I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't, and maybe well, I don't want to dig too hard. Yeah, but. It's basically a test to say, can you love me? Because look what I've done, you know.
Dude, I am such a piece of garbage.
I dare you to test me on if I am or not. Look at this.
Try me, dog.
Yeah, try me. Look at this forehead.
I mean, definitely some of that is for sure, like, whether it be mental health issues or, like, an intoxication. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely the ultimate I don't give a fuck is tattoo in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, and not even face. I'm going to say full frontal. Well, I don't know, man. Because I guess at the point when I tattooed my face, I was like, all right, you know what, dude? This is what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously in this for as long as I've been. And, you know, I love the aesthetic. I love getting tattoos.
It seemed like a natural build-up for you, though. It's not like... I think there's a difference between a spillover and an unearned face tat or something. You know what I mean? There's a different thing.
We know that difference, but I think at a certain point, the general public, you know what I mean, especially modern white middle America, they just see me as face tat. You know what I mean?
And that's where we're at, is it's like no one's even thinking about application of stuff. It's just what does it look like.
I bought a crucifix. It was like a sick kit crucifix, and it had 2 candles in it, and then it had a thing of like a bottle of like it said holy water on that glass bottle with a cross and holy water, but the holy water was empty. You know?
Oh yeah, so you drank that shit, right?
What to do, but like I kept it all. It's super sick.
You're like, I took a sip and it burned my mouth.
No, I would have, but there was no liquid in there. It was unholy. But yeah, let me know when you want to do another one of these things.
Yeah, for sure. Always a good time. Good talking to you, brother.
Word.
Peace.
DFTW, yeah, you.